Okay, hip fracture. Oh, like, do you have any experience in this kind of unit before now? And how was the interview process like? Did you know that you were getting employed in this kind of unit? And which kind of questions did they ask you? We know that in Nigeria, like, it is when you have worked like some time or recommend you for a promotion. Some people will do exams and all. So how is it like in the NHS? So do you think the UK is worth the hype? Do you think the NHS is really worth the hype? Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're seeing me for the very first time, hi, my name is Samuel, and with me today is a very special guest. Her name is The Harvest Experience. She has a channel here on YouTube as well, and she is a registered nurse both in Nigeria and in the UK. So I would like her to introduce herself much better to us.
Hello guys, thank you very much, Samuel, the Samuel BELA, for having me on your channel today. Yes, my name is Avis, and my YouTube channel is The Avis Experience. I currently work and practice in the United Kingdom.
Let's briefly talk about home, like Nigeria, how nursing started for you. So was nursing always like a thing for you? Like, is it something you have always seen yourself that you wanted to become?
I would say no, because growing up, I wanted to be a medical doctor. I didn't know there was a course called nursing. I didn't have anyone around me. The only nurses I have were auxiliary nurses. I was like, no, I don't like the way they dress or the way they do things. I don't want to be a nurse. I remember one of my aunts, then I went to spend my holiday with her, and she was like, oh, will you go and be learning nursing in the hospital? I was like, learning nursing in the hospital? I don't want to do that. But I don't know that there was a school where nursing was being studied, or any course in the university called nursing. Although I used to check JAMB list, but it never occurred to me that nursing was a course that was being studied in the university. I wasn't interested in it. I was just interested in medicine, pharmacy, and all other biological sciences courses. But I remember when I was in XS3, one of my teachers was telling me that, oh, he had a cousin who was studying nursing in School of Nursing BEDA. I was like, School of Nursing BEDA. So that was the very first time I would hear about a School of Nursing, and it was in BEDA. So I thought that was the only School of Nursing in Nigeria. You know, back then, we don't have so much access to informations and internet. So with the Google check, then I went to check. I saw School of Nursing BEDA. I was like, okay. So he said he was going to help me get the form, speak to his cousin. I would get the form and see how it goes. So I was like, okay, but I was still pursuing my medicine dream. I was writing JAM, writing post JAM, but I wasn't shortlisted on 2 occasions. So I think it was on the second attempt of me writing my JAM or post JAM that I met with one of our family nurse. Okay, we used to call her matron, so I couldn't differentiate between matron and a nurse. Some matrons are all those big mama that are working in government hospitals and all of that. So she was like, oh, I asked after her daughter, who was like my senior sister in the street, and she was like, oh, she's studying nursing in Ibadan. I was like, is there a School of Nursing in Ibadan? That the only School of Nursing I've ever heard of was in the one in Niger State, BEDA. She was like, yes, that she's in UCH. But I said, UCH? I've never even heard of UCH before. So she connected me with her daughter and asked me to go and pick up the form. And yeah, that was how I got into nursing, and I got the admission that same year.
Which departments are you currently working in the UK?
I presently work in specialist medicine. We call it specialist medicine in my hospital, but it's elderly care. But my own specialty in the elderly care is hip fracture unit. So it's like orthogeriatric unit.
Hip fracture?
Hip fracture.
Okay, hip fracture. Okay. Like, is this where you have been working since you have moved to the UK? And like, how long have you been in the UK? Roughly how many years?
I've been in the UK now for over 2 years, and this is my first trust, and this is where I'm still working.
So how was your relocation process? And I mean, like, the interview, like, is this, like, do you have any experience in this kind of unit before now? And how was the interview process like? Did you know that you were getting employed in this kind of unit, and which kind of questions did they ask you to like sort of see if you would fit into that unit or not?
For me, I didn't know I was going to be working in elderly care. When I applied for the job, I saw specialist medicine, international recruitment. So I thought specialist medicine, that means there's a specialty involved. And I've heard so many stories from my colleagues about, oh, elderly care, how is it can be challenging, so many things that you want to do. So in my mind, I was like, no, I don't want to work in an elderly care facility. I was looking forward to working in the theater or maybe cardiology or a ward or something. So when I applied, they just did the interview generally for international nurses. So they didn't tell us where we were going to or whatever thing we want to do. But I had theater experience from my previous job in Nigeria. So I told them about my theater experience, taking care of pre-op and post-op patients and all of that. So during the course of the interview, they would ask you, where would you like to work? So I told them my first option would be in the theater. Because I've heard so many stories that theater nurses in the UK, oh, they are this, they are that. So I told them theater. They said if they don't give me theater, where else? I was like, okay, maybe cardiology, outpatients, all of that. So they're like, okay, they'll get back to me and let me know. So even up to the moment that we got to the UK, we didn't know which ward or which units we're going to. So they had that in mind because they've had portions or allocations of where different people would be working, but they didn't disclose that to us. So when we got down here, that they told us that okay, you will be going to, because in my ward they don't call each ward by their specialty. We have special names for different ward. Like we have
Okay.
maybe Victoria ward, Queen Elizabeth ward, all of that. So you don't know what they are doing exactly in that ward. So when they told us, we're like, okay. And when we got there and they told us this is elderly care, but it's a specialist unit, it's hip fracture unit. So I was like, okay, fair enough. Let's see how it goes. And if it works out, we stay. If it doesn't, we change departments after a short time. But it's been an amazing unit. I have good teams and good experience so far. So I think I like it.
So you are in England, right? Where exactly in England, like, and how is the cost of living there? Would you say it's a very affordable place to live or an expensive place?
I stay in Reading, and Reading is the southeast of England. We're
Okay.
just 30 minutes away from London, Paddington. I'm just giving you heads up to how cost of living is relatable in the UK. So we are just 30 minutes away from London, Paddington,
That
which
means
is,
it's a bit expensive.
yeah. So we know areas that are very close to London areas, they are very expensive, a bit pricey. Because I have friends in London, and sometimes when we compare our house rents and all of that, it's almost the same thing, or
Wow.
just a little difference, maybe a difference of £200. And I won't say this is the downside, but it's what I don't like is that we are and cost of living here is expensive, but we are not being paid high cost area allowance. I don't know why they didn't categorize this place as an high cost area.
Oh,
But yeah, so we don't get paid the HCA high cost area allowance that other trusts that are closer to London get paid, because there are a lot of people who are working in London but they are living in Reading too. So it's pricey, but I don't know. For me, I like the area. It's very mixed. We have different people from different countries, different race of the world. So you don't feel left out. And
okay.
our city center is a bubbling area. There's practically nothing you want that you won't find there. And because of the proximity to London and other places, this we have a train station that leads to almost everywhere that you want to go to. We have a direct train to Manchester, Birmingham. So the transport system is great. People there, they are very great. They are lovely people, welcoming. What else again? There are a lot of activities that you can do around. Like it's a great place to live. So that's why I haven't considered leaving. Because
Okay.
initially I was like, if this place is going to be expensive, then I'm not going to spend so much time here. After a while, I'll move to a low cost area. At least we are getting paid the same amount, but there are other things that I've looked out for, and I think I like this place. Thank you.
So the UK, has it always been like your option when you were planning to relocate? And if I may ask, like, at what point did you like say like, okay, I think I need to leave Nigeria?
Okay, for me, the UK. Well, I don't have any choice. I don't have any first choice I don't have the American dream. I
Mm-hmm.
just know that at some point in my life, I want to relocate out of the country, maybe to do my master's. I wasn't even looking forward to working abroad. I was looking forward to scholarship opportunities just to do my master's. And this, I've always had this dream since when I was in year 3 in School of Nursing. I was looking out for Canada scholarship, UK scholarship. So, but I think 2019, 2020, when the pandemic happened, people, the UK pathway became more open to
More
nurses.
open, yeah.
So, and I had friends who were doing it and they were carrying me along. Like, they were always pushing me. I would say I was pushed into the process by my friends, and because
Mm.
I had some close pals, I'll call them my families that had relocated at that point, 2019. They had relocated, and it was just as if, oh, a great part of me have left the country. I don't have people to see
Mm.
again, and I was like, no, I have to join them. And another thing that informed my decision was the NSAS movement. I'm sorry to say this, but yeah, it was one of those things that influenced my decision, and the COVID pandemic, because during
Mm.
that time, compared to other nurses in other countries, we were not treated so well in Nigeria. Some of us got half salary that didn't even reach anywhere, and most of our family members were at home. Nobody was working. It was very hard. It was very, very hard. So I just made up my mind that, oh my God, if there is going to be another lockdown, it's not going to meet me in this country. I must find a
Mm.
way to leave. So that was
Mm.
when I started my processing and all of that. And yeah, with the advice from my friends and everyone, I was able to complete my process. I think I did that within less than a year. Yeah, less than a year.
Wow. As someone who loves traveling and you're working in the NHS, do you think the NHS is really worth the hype? I mean, like in terms of salary, in terms of meeting your needs. Like, let's say I'm someone who does not like to do extra shifts. Do you
Yeah.
think the NHS is suitable?
Well, for me, I've been working in the NHS and I like it. Although people say that all care homes or private organizations they pay more, but there are some is it perks or specs in NHS that I think for me it's I really love about it. I don't know about other trusts, but number one thing for my trust, we are allowed to do our roster allocation, so I can decide when and where I want to work in a
Wow.
month. So I can decide that this week I want to do just 4 shifts and I'll have 3 days off. And next week, when I'm starting, I'm not starting in the first 3 weeks. In the first 3 days, like I can put 6 days off together
In
and
between
in
those weeks.
between my shifts because it's just 37.5 hours. We have a platform where we do our roster, so it's self-rostering. So you can
Wow.
allocate your duty, you can put your annual leave wherever you want, and if there is going to be any alteration, it's just going to be a minor one, and you will even be informed sometimes if they need to change it. So I can put my shift together and travel for the remaining days, and I can decide to put maybe in my off days I can decide to put 1 or 2 annual leaves, and that will give me
Wow.
like maybe 8 days, so I have enough time to travel and do other things. So that's one of the advantage that the NHS has given me. Another thing about the NHS is the career progression. It depends on people. What we all look out for in life is quite different. Some people might just want to make money and be comfortable, live a comfortable life, while some people are
Mm.
after career progression and how to build their career and all of that. So if you are someone that you are very much invested in your career, I think the NHS is a good place for you. So it now boils down to you weighing your option. What do you want? Do you want more money? Do you want career progression? Do you want job satisfaction and all of that? So the NHS for me, it gives me that opportunity to plan my life the way I want it. The career progression, I was privileged. I got band 6 after 6 months of working in the UK.
Oh,
So, and
wow. Oh,
with that, yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. And with that, you can also move higher. I can apply for band 7. If you want to specialize also, the NHS is a good place for you to specialize. If you are you want to be a diabetic nurse, infection control nurse, practice educator, and all of that, the NHS will give you that opportunity. So for me, I think the opportunities with the NHS is so much that I have no regrets working there, and I really like it. And well, for people that don't want to do extra shifts, like I said, it all boils down to ourselves. I used to tell people that even if you are staying in an high cost area or a low cost area, your cost of living or your lifestyle depends solely on you. You can be in
Mm,
an high cost area and still live large, and why you can be in a low cost area and you are not really living large as you should be. So it depends on your saving ability, your spending capacity, and all of that. So if you can still work in the NHS and don't do extra shifts. I have people that don't do extra shift. It's also about you being contented with whatever you have. So
mm.
if I'm okay with the salary and just the little amount that I have is what I'm saving and I'm okay with it, then I don't need to do extra shift. And extra shift is not compulsory. It's just if you want to buy something extra that you don't want to touch your salary, that's what it is for. So for me, the
Okay.
NHS is it.
Let's quickly talk about like career progression in the NHS. Like we know that in Nigeria, like it is when you have worked like some time that they will probably put you up or recommend you for a promotion. Some people will do exams and all. So how is it like in the NHS?
Okay, in the NHS, everyone coming in comes in as a band 5 nurse. So all
Okay.
international nurses, okay, some trust recruits on band 3, some on band 4, and once you've passed your OSCE, you move on to band 5 nurse, staff nurses. That's the starting point. Depending on the trust, there are some preceptorship programs that you have to go through. It's just something to bring you into the system, some trainings, some study days, and all of that to bring you just into the system. So once you've completed your preceptorship study day, there are other easy opportunities, I'll call it, that you can also see into. One thing I always tell people is that you have to decide whatever you want and you have to pursue it, go for it. You don't just stay in a place and expect magic to come. You have to work towards it and really go for it. And if you go once and you don't get it, you go again. You know what you want, and until you get it, you don't relax. Moving up the career progression in the NHS is quite competitive because, say for instance, there are a lot of band 5s than band 6. Band 5 roles are much because that's the starting point. Everyone coming, and band 6 role is not so much like that. And imagine it's being competitive and a lot of people who want to get the job trying to apply, and if you don't have what it takes and the extra, you might not fit into that position. But that is why I said if you don't get it at first, you go for it again until you get it. It's just about you preparing yourself, making yourself ready, and knowing what you want from the start. I have some people that have been in band 5 for over 10 years and they don't want to move up the ladder. That is just their own decision. I have people 20 years
Mm,
as band 5, they have not moved up because they feel band 6 comes with a lot of responsibility. Yeah. Another thing about the NHS is the higher you go, the more responsibility you get. So you as a band 5, your responsibility is more to patients and to maybe HCAs working under you. Or as a band 6, you are responsible for the band 5s that are there. You're responsible for HCAs and a lot of things. So the higher you go in the NHS band, the more your responsibility increases. And some people don't want to have that responsibility. They are not prepared for it.
mm,
So they prefer to just stay as a band 5 and not move up the ladder. But if you want to move up the ladder, you have to start working towards it from your first time, from your first day as a band 5. Know when you want to apply. If it is 6 months, 1 year, you are staying as a band 5. From there, start applying for roles. Look out for your specialty. If you want to specialize, start applying to departments in that your specialty. and they also use experience in the NHS. So for me, because I had some leadership experience back in Nigeria, so those
Okay.
were the things that I put forward, that okay, I've been a leader, in
Was
Nigeria
this
now.
was
Yeah.
this when you were working or like in school?
When I was working, every
Okay.
nurse in Nigeria is a potential leader. Why
Yeah.
did I say that? It's because imagine you just going into a private hospital. You are just coming out of school. You are the only registered nurse looking after all the auxiliaries and I'm just saying this for people that are working in some private hospitals where auxiliaries are. You are
Mm.
in charge. You are the one coordinating. You are the one managing. I've worked in a facility where I was the only nurse. I was doing admin. I was doing pharmacy. I was doing everything. So you have that innate ability in you. And also, because I had leadership experience in school too, it's what will I call it, it's rebranded me and my way of thinking, my way of my composure and everything. So when I went for the interview, I didn't even go because I was prepared for the role. I just went for to try it, just for try and error. But when I put forward all those leadership experiences that I've had in the past, and I was surprised they gave me the job. So your experience matters whenever you're doing an interview, especially for a senior role in the United Kingdom. Don't leave out your Nigerian experience. I know there are a
Mm.
lot of nurses that have practiced for 10 years, 15 years in Nigeria, and they are coming to the NHS starting as a band 5. Those experiences, they really matter. Whenever you're going for interview, you talk about them. You talk about impact projects that you have done. You talk about how you've put yourself out, community services. So because band 6 is more of a leadership role, it's more of a coordinating role, a more responsible role that you are looking after other people that are before you. So they were like, because of my previous experience and all of that. And I remember the last hospital I worked, I worked as a preceptor. So because you are going to have people under you, like your mentees that you are going to be mentoring as a band 6. So I put that to them, so that yes, I've mentored some nurses too. So those are the things that they actually look out for.
The last question that I have before we leave you is you've been in the UK for, said, roughly 2 years. So do you think the UK is worth the hype? Because most people, when they hear, oh, this person is rich because he or she is in the UK. So do you think it's actually worth the hype?
Well, coming from Nigeria, I think the UK is worth the hype. If I was coming from another country, I would have said, okay, no. But coming from Nigeria, the UK is actually worth the hype. Because
In,
I've complained less in the last 2 years than I've complained in my last, how many years of working in Nigeria now? 2016 to 2021. My last 5 years.
5 years. Hmm.
Like, people that are close to me, they know how I complain about so many things. Because you working in a system that things are working in, it gives you a kind of, will I say, a peace of mind.
Hmm.
So that peace of mind is just one thing that I'm happy about for the UK, because systems are in place, things are working, everyone have their job, everyone have their roles and responsibility. I am a nurse, I'm not working as a pharmacist. I can't do the work of a pharmacist. I'm not working as what else again, lab scientist. These are the
Hmm.
things that I've done in Nigeria, and that is why I wasn't happy with the system. I'm always fighting management in Nigeria because I don't like the system. Because you expect so much from me, meanwhile you are overworking me and you are making me do things that I don't like. So nothing in
Hmm.
the UK for me, I like the structure that is on ground for it. Everyone, a doctor has his own job. We know what happened in Nigeria, how many people just want to rub it on the nurse's face and all of that. Things don't happen like that here. Everyone knows their job. When the doctor needs to consult the nurse, he will come and consult the nurse. When the nurse needs to ask for advice from the doctor, they will ask for advice. That interdisciplinary roles and responsibility, it is there. And that was my number one reason for not liking nursing in Nigeria. And because I have a
Hmm.
system where that is in place, I really like it. Another thing is, talking about system again, the system of the city here, It's quite different. People are not being forced to obey rules and regulation because there are consequences. If you break this rule, you know the consequence that will come, that you will
Huge
face for it.
fines.
Yeah, the fines. So it's a sane community, it's a sane environment. Although our preferences are quite different, what people look out for is different. Like I said earlier, that some people just want the money, some people want a good life, some people want peace of mind, some people want
Mm.
a career progression, like the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Until we get to self-actualization, we are not yet there. If you have the little things, for me, the little things like peace of mind, like a system that is working, it's it's worth the hype for me, really.
Okay. So thank you so much for gracing this channel, and we hope to have you more. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.